She's known as one of the greatest monsters in Greek mythology. A terrifying creature, capable of turning anyone to stone with just a look. But, what if I told you that everything you've heard about the Gorgon so far is wrong? What if behind this monstrous figure lies one of the most tragic and unjust stories ever told? Her name wasn't just Medusa. In ancient Greek, Medusa means guardian or protector. Ironic, isn't it? Today, you're going to discover the truth behind one of the greatest cases of injustice in Greek mythology. Our story begins long before the curse, long before the serpents, long before the terror. Medusa was not born a monster. She was a mortal, the only one among her three sisters, the Gorgons. Daughter of the ancient sea gods Phorcys and Ceto, primordial deities of the dangers and mysteries of the deep sea. But there was something special about Medusa. Her beauty was indescribable. Not just her perfect face, but her golden hair was considered her most stunning feature, so magnificent it rivaled that of Athena herself. And here's a crucial detail few know. Medusa was a priestess dedicated to Athena's temple. She had taken sacred vows of chastity, devoting her entire life to serving the goddess of wisdom. Travelers from all parts of the Mediterranean world made pilgrimages just to glimpse her beauty in the temple. Many courted her, but Medusa remained faithful to her vows. She was a woman of faith, a devoted woman, a woman who believed she was protected by her goddess. But that protection never came. Poseidon, the powerful lord of the seas, brother of Zeus, one of the most feared deities of Olympus, became obsessed. When Medusa rejected his advances, reminding him of her sacred vows, the refusal enraged the god. One day, as she walked along the beach near the temple, Poseidon decided he would take what he wanted, by force. Medusa ran. She ran in desperation to the only place she believed she was safe, Athena's sacred temple. There was no protection that night. Inside Athena's own temple, Poseidon violated Medusa. In the most sacred place, where she had served with devotion for years, where she placed all her faith. But the real tragedy was yet to come. When Athena learned what had happened in her temple, she was furious. But her wrath didn't turn against Poseidon, one of the most powerful gods of Olympus, her own uncle. No, her fury was directed at the victim. Some versions suggest Athena acted out of jealousy. Medusa's beauty had always bothered her. Other more recent theories propose that the transformation was an act of twisted protection, ensuring no man could hurt her again. But the reality is clear. Medusa paid for another's crime. The transformation was terrible. Her beautiful golden hair became venomous serpents that never stopped moving. Her once perfect face acquired bronze fangs. And her eyes. Her eyes gained the cursed power to petrify anyone who dared look at her. Medusa became a being incapable of loving or being loved, incapable of exchanging a simple glance, condemned to eternal solitude. Rejected by all, Medusa was banished to the ends of the known world, a desolate island beyond the ocean, at the limits of night, alongside the Hesperides. There, she lived with her sisters Steno and Euryale, who were also transformed into Gorgons, punished simply for standing by their sister's side. For decades, Medusa remained isolated. The island gradually filled with stone statues, the remains of warriors who tried to kill her in search of glory. Because, see the irony, the woman who was punished for being a victim was now hunted as a trophy. Medusa's story connects to another familiar plot in mythology, male ambition in politics. Perseus, son of Zeus and the mortal Danae, was being manipulated by King Polydectes, who wanted to get rid of the young hero to conquer his mother. The challenge? Bring back Medusa's head. It was a suicide mission, or it would be, if Perseus didn't have divine help. Athena, the same goddess who had punished Medusa, provided the strategy and a mirrored shield. Hermes gave winged sandals. Hades lent the helmet of invisibility. Three powerful gods united to ensure the death of a woman already devastated by injustice. Perseus found Medusa sleeping. Using the reflection in the shield, he decapitated her without looking directly at her. And here's a heartbreaking detail. At the moment of her death, Medusa was pregnant. From the blood that gushed from her neck were born Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, the golden giant, children of Poseidon, fruits of the violence she had suffered. Even in death, she gave life. Even in tragedy, there was creation. But Medusa's story doesn't end with her death. Her head became a powerful weapon. Perseus used it to defeat enemies, including the very king who had sent him on this deadly mission. Eventually, the head was given to Athena, who placed it on her shield, the Aegis. The face of the woman she had punished became her symbol of protection. In antiquity, the image of Medusa's head, called the Gorgonian, was carved on temples, shields, and amulets. The ancients believed it warded off evil and protected against enemies. The most famous of these representations decorated the pediments of the Temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The woman transformed into a monster became, ironically, a symbol of protection. Today, centuries later, Medusa's story gains new meanings. The modern feminist movement has adopted Medusa as a symbol, no longer seen as a monster, but as a powerful woman seeking reparation. An icon of the fight against sexual violence and oppression, her image is used in demonstrations, tattoos, and art, representing the strength of violence survivors. In 2020, a modern statue of Medusa holding Perseus's head was placed in front of the New York Criminal Court, a powerful inversion of the classical narrative, symbolizing justice for victims. The name Medusa, which means guardian and protector, finally makes sense. Medusa's story teaches us something fundamental about narratives and power. For centuries, we've only known the version of the heroes, men who hunted her, who defeated her, who benefited from her death. But when we look deeper, we discover a woman who was betrayed by the gods, misunderstood by mortals, and transformed into a symbol of fear, when all she wanted was to serve her goddess in peace. As the Roman poet Ovid said, Medusa had once been a beautiful woman. But she was much more than that. She was devout, she was faithful, she was innocent. Her story reminds us that behind every monster, there may be a victim. And that sometimes, the true monstrosities don't have serpents for hair. They have power in their hands. Medusa was not a villain. She was a survivor. And maybe it's time we stop telling her story as a horror tale, and start seeing it for what it really is. A story about injustice, resistance, and the strength of a woman who, even in death, continues to protect others. If you enjoyed this version of the story, share it and tell me in the comments. What other mythological figures deserve to have their true story retold?